Republicans shouldn't be hitting the panic button. They should be slamming it.
Scottsdale political consultant Mike Noble after Republican Debbie Lesko closer than expected victory over Democratic challenger Hero Cipriani in the CD8 special election yesterday. Meanwhile, teachers strike tomorrow, and Mesa House Republican Kelly Thompson considering a class action lawsuit against teachers if the walkout happens.
I really would hope that the teachers, rather than striking and inconveniencing everyone, help us come together and talk about consolidating, talk about finding funds from other sources.
Tucson firefighters get a quick jump. A fire destroyed a bedroom in an apartment complex.
As soon as they opened the door, they were greeted by a dog that was very happy to see them.
Southdale police looking for suspects involved in a violent robbery at an ATM. In fact, the victim's ear bitten off. George Tanner, Arizona News.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. In Phoenix, be on the lookout for an accident at the I-17 northbound approaching Bethany Home Road, as well as Indian School Road west of 51st Ave. And Mesa, be on the lookout for a collision at the US 60 eastbound approaching Stapley Drive. Your unused prescription drugs could end up misused or stolen. Take them back at DEA's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 28th. DEATakeback.com.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening, we're under an air quality alert. Under mostly clear skies, our overnight low 71. Sunny Thursday, high 99. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 72. And mostly sunny Friday, high 98. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 98 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
You're in the front yard, shovel in hand, about to dig, when a thought crosses your mind.
Was I supposed to call 811 before I start digging? Nah, that's just for excavator dudes.
No, dude, it's for homeowners too. Before starting any digging project, call 811 2 working days in advance to get all underground lines marked for free. Because natural gas lines and other utilities can be buried anywhere.
Got it. Thanks, deep-voiced narrator.
You're welcome, dude. Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Call 1-800-266-4719. That's 1-800-266-4719. Take advantage of this limited time offer. Go to MyPillow.com now. Click on the 4-pack special tab and use promo code COMFORT at checkout.
Live from the Midtown studios of KFNX, it's time for the Wellness Roundtable radio show, sponsored by Atrix.com. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Spear and Dr. White.
Hello, and welcome to the Wellness Roundtable radio show on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss. Dr. Weiss, how are we today?
I'm doing great here in New York. You know, it's funny, Dave, I just heard 98 degrees and you're having air quality issues there in Phoenix?
Well, in case you didn't know, there are some serious air quality, kind of situations here. We get a lot of dust up, especially during this time of the year. Usually you can see a haze over the city. And even though it's beautiful and sunny, there's definitely a lot of dust in the air. So there are some issues regarding that. But good to hear that you are doing well. And we have 2 guests on today. We're going to be speaking with the pros today. We have Stu Burton, who is the owner of Iron and Silk Fitness in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And we have Victor Martinez, who is an IFBB professional bodybuilder. And is only the second individual from the Dominican Republic to become a professional bodybuilder. So really amazing stuff. We're going to be talking about some training techniques, talk about supplementation, talk about some methods that they use and what their routines are like. So I wanted to welcome you guys to the show. Victor?
Hey, guys.
Dave, how you doing, Dave?
Good. Stu, welcome to the show. Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Dave. Thank you.
So,
thank you guys for having me.
Anytime. No, this is great. I think this is really interesting information that listeners can really benefit from. So before we start, I just want to give out our call number. Give us a call to join in on the conversation at 602-277-5369 or 1-866-536-1169. So, Scott, I guess I'll start and chime in.
Absolutely, Dave.
Okay. So Victor, question for you. So as a bodybuilder, your training intensity is, I would guess, a lot different than the way I train. So I want to know, what is a typical day for you like, in terms of the training intensity?
Well, because of the training intensity, a normal day is definitely nutrition. Nutrition always goes first, only because of the workload that I put into the gym, the intensity, the long, sets, the many sets I do. Again, the intensity of how heavy I go, and this varies depending on the show and off season. Okay. But regardless, it's still hard and heavy, and it's a very big workload, and followed by, of course, soreness, recovery. So the typical day, it's a lot of calories.
So what's the calories in a day, Victor? A lot of people are really would want to know how many calories does a bodybuilder need in a day compared to somebody like a Michael Phelps who can eat 10,000 calories in a day when he's training. Right. Is it similar, although the training might be different and the sports are different? What is your caloric intake when you're really training for a huge competition?
I would have to say it's very close. Now, training for competition will be probably half of what Michael Phelps does.
But
in the off season is kind of almost up to what he actually eats, except the calories is coming from much cleaner food. I'm not having the burgers and the hot dogs that he's having and the pizzas and all that, you know. Because we have to watch out. Again, Michael Phelps burns. He's like a furnace, with the amount of laps he does and all that. Again, we're not doing it for cardiovascular purposes or, again, for, being as, again, he burns a lot of calories swimming. We try to maintain our calories to build the muscle. So
but it's about half.
Caloric intake. Yeah, no, I mean, again, for off season, it's about 8 to 10.
Wow.
Now pre-contest is about 5,000 calories, because now we want to get into that fat,
Right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we want to burn
great.
that fat. Yeah. So in the pre-contest, our fat intake is calculated, to about 25 to about 30 grams of fat. We're in the off season, that could double up, So again, it varies based on what show you're doing and what you're doing. Now in the off season, yes, it's off season, but you can't go way off because you want to stay close enough to looking decent, especially with age. As age progresses, you could tend to put on fat a little bit easier than you did in your 20s or 30s. So it's a constant year-round 365-day lifestyle.
That's a great
sure
point.
You heard that. Yes. I'm sure you heard that a lot.
That you make.
Lifestyle.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
I think, Dave, that's a great point that he makes, is a lot of athletes these days are staying like this. It's a lifestyle. It's not like the olden days in football where you really needed a preseason because these guys worked in steel mills and they weren't playing football. And they needed to get them in shape. People like Victor and a lot of our athletes, and, in this day and age, they're training all the time. So I can see what he's saying so clearly.
Yeah, I think, it's for people are everyday athletes at this point, right? I mean, whether it be bodybuilding or you're training for a marathon or whatever you're doing, you're sort of never stopping. Like you said, it becomes a lifestyle, and I think that's really important. And Stu,
one of the reasons,
David.
David, one of the reasons I just want to mention is why always the maintenance and why always the lifestyle? Because you notice, as Scott mentioned, Dr. Scott, is the athletes, when they're playing, they're burning all these calories. Now you look at guys in the NBA and NFL.
Yeah.
Once they stop from doing those daily or weekly, games, what happens? They tend to relax. They tend to kick back, and what happens? The weight gain.
Absolutely.
The weight gain. It gets them out of that athlete shape, and that's what you always want to avoid in life is staying in shape constantly all year round, because health is, of course, everything,
Yeah, absolutely. You make a really good point, and you said, they sort of kick back and relax, and I think that's another show, but that's really the psychology behind it, right? That's kind of like the marathoner's dilemma, where you train for a marathon for so long, then you run it, and then there's nothing. You don't have anything else to train for. So
but you're used to taking the same calories in. That's the problem. You're still used to having the same amount of calories for training, and that's where they gain the weight. That's where the joints get worn down. And I hate to say, some of the older people, those are the guys you see in the wheelchairs, So you got to be careful, and you got to kind of juggle that balance.
That's really important. Yeah.
Slow down, but never really stop. Once you stop, it's like, like you say, you stop driving that car. What happens, it starts getting backed up, oxidizing, and it doesn't run as well. Slow it down, maybe not training or doing, the games that you did as intense as before, but always do that body maintenance where you're actually keeping your body burning enough of that fuel you're ingesting. And when you stop playing that sport, doesn't mean, hey, let's splurge, let's gain that weight, let's become unhealthy. That's never a goal, but it tends to happen.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. So Victor, talking about the caloric intake that you have, and let's say it's somewhere averages around 7,500 calories a day, which if anybody's tried to ever eat 7,500 calories a day, that's a very difficult task.
Yes.
How many meals do you break that down into? Do you break it down into 5 or 6 or even more?
Usually about now pre-contest I do about 6 to 7 meals. Now off season I cut that back because the more meals, the faster your metabolism, so you kind of burn more.
Right.
So now in the off season I go back a notch, lower my meals because I don't want to be on vacation or away from my kids and all of a sudden stop the show and I got to get a meal in.
Right. You got to live your life.
It gets on my daughter's nerves and she hates it. I'm in the middle of the beach and all of a sudden I got to get a meal.
That's good information.
I want to become more fuel efficient, yeah.
Good information. Well, listen, in the next segment, we're going to be talking a little bit more about training techniques. Specifically, we're going to focus a little bit on arms. I want to hear sort of what you do for that, especially as summer is coming up. And, we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about some other methods that you use in your training. So this is
everybody's favorite. Everybody's
favorite.
Is it the arms or chest? Arms or chest?
That's so I want to ask you about
we're on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX, and this is the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. We'll be right back after these words.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at iWellnessPartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust through a thorough workup with regular communication and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Thank you, Steve, for taking us in with some Led Zeppelin on this one. Welcome back to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. I'm Dr. Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, and we're talking with Stu Burton and Victor Martinez about bodybuilding, training techniques, nutrition, and all things health. So let's kind of continue the conversation. There was a lot of really good information in that first segment. And I think listeners might want to know specifically, in terms of the training techniques, what do you use? What kinds of, number one, what kind of equipment do you use? So are you using machines? Are you using free weights? Are you using a combination of both? And also, let's say take arms, for instance, again, because summer is around the corner. What does a routine look like?
Well, definitely I combine both, you know. A lot of the free weights, because, again, the compound movements are definitely the mass builders and the shape developers of the arms. Machines are good for isolation. Again, it's good for the older people that, again, for injuries. I mean, it varies. But for the young guys out there listening, please just stick to the free weights, you know, manipulate the weights. The arm routine now, I do them, if I do them twice a week, it varies. If I do them once the first time, I'll probably do about 16 sets, you know. Wow. Some people might say it's a lot, you know, but again, I only train arms once a week. With the second follow-up one, is only about 6 sets. That's about it. Why? Because when I do back, my arms are stimulated, so why not get in a little workout, you know, right after? And again, you're still going to put on some size. And people have to take into consideration that you can actually overtrain arms just as easy as any other body parts, you know, only because they are being used as a secondary muscle when you're doing back, triceps after you're doing chest. So, again, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you're not training arms twice a week, but indirectly you are.
Right,
so you have to consider those movements.
Right, right. And so 16 sets seems like a lot of, it seems like a long time. It seems like a lot of sets. So are those sets, are they pyramided? Or are they done in such a way where they're kind of, you know, heavier weight down to lighter weight or lighter weight up to heavier weight? Or is there a sort of method to that madness?
Yeah, it's only up, only going up.
Only going up? Okay.
Only going up. Again, you want to do the warm-up again just to activate the muscle, get that blood flow in there. But once you start, I mean, you can pyramid at the end of the actual exercise, do a drop set just to really get that, you know, intensity in the arms. But definitely, again, now you're looking at pre-contest and off-season. Pre-contest, of course, you know, you want to do those shaping exercises to really get into the fibers, dig into the fibers, you know. Pre-contest and off-season, you just want mass. You want to build.
Got it.
You want to build. Now you're looking at somebody that's just maintaining, or you want to be in shape. Again, stick to the compound movements. You can't go wrong. You don't have to go as fancy with all these other different exercises. And you only choose the different variables, again, to make it interesting. You know, people think, oh, I'm bored. Well, you're only bored because you actually have the driver's seat in working out. You shouldn't be bored because the choice is up to you. You know, so always, that's the only different variables as far as for your everyday person that wants to stay in shape. But for bodybuilding, again, I stick to the basic compound movements in the off season, and I take it all from there. You know.
Yeah. Victor, so you're saying really you're increasing the load each set.
Yes.
So you might start off, you know, like just so people know, no matter what, you start off with like 50 pounds, you're going to 60, 70, 80, and that's it. Every set you're getting more and more, and you're doing a lot of volume, and a huge amount of volume, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, it's a huge volume. Again, 4 exercises, 3 to 4 sets each. Again, volume. But remember, I increase, but my increases are not, you know, hindering my form and my contraction, my squeezing of the muscle. That's what people have to understand. I'm not going heavier and going as heavy as I can just to get 2 reps out.
Right,
you know?
right.
You know,
okay.
I'm still getting 8 to 12 reps, you know, with my increases. So I'm increasing, but as my blood flow gets, you know, better in my arms, now I know my workload, I can do more. You know?
Got it. I'd like to actually... I'd like to say something too regarding that. It's that with volume training, you know, I think a lot of people, it's fallen a little bit out of vogue with mainstream training. Everybody's really focusing on high intensity based training.
Right.
But volume training, which was really, you know, very very prevalent back in the 70s, you know, the 80s, you know, the 60s. It's superior in order to flush blood into the area, and without getting enough blood into the muscle, you really can't create growth because that's where all the nutrients are. So going in and incorporating volume. The only problem is that with today's schedule and society, a lot of people just don't have the time. So they look at a guy like Victor or some of the other guys or somebody that's larger that's maybe spending a lot of time doing volume training, and they're like, well, I don't have that amount of time. I want to try and incorporate a very intense workout. They think in terms of, you know, high intensity, you know, but even that's not being performed the way it was performed in the past. And it's important for people to understand the difference between, you know, high intensity training, force negatives, and so forth, positive training, negative, positive training, and how to incorporate something actually that's a blend of the both, which is what we'll get into a little bit later with the training method. But volume training, you cannot go wrong. It's easier on the joints, superior for ligament and tendon, will flush blood in areas where you typically can't get growth. Most people don't grow or get development in a particular area, whether it be a woman or a male, because they can't get enough blood into that area. If you're training high intensity, a lot of the times you just cannot generate enough blood flow. But with volume training, which is you're going to be doing anywhere between 8, let's say 12 repetitions. Some people might do 15, but it's the sets which was always considered volume training. It's not so much repetition, it was the set load that was equating to volume. That's where you get that blood flow, the proficiency of going in, executing the movement, getting the angles, and then you're just pounding and driving that angle. That's how you really get that good growth. That's why Vic has been able to do it so well, maintain a really good shape also in the off season. You know.
Stu, you ever hear of blood flow restriction training? Do bodybuilders take part in that? Is that
it's not
legit to you guys?
It's not that popular. You do see people doing it, and that's old. It's not even new. That's very old. You know, people today are thinking about that's something that's new. But Vic, you see anybody out there in LA doing that?
No, you just called it. You called it right now. You know, you want to get that blood flow because you want to deliver those nutrients. You want to get that, you know, restricted blood flow. I mean, I don't know anybody who wants to restrict blood flow in any part of their body, and you can consider that call in bed as well.
It's really great hearing that from you guys and just hearing such a different angle on it versus,
absolutely,
you know, maybe in the rehabilitation setting there's some use for it, but it got a lot of popularity these days, and it's great to hear that the people that are really building the mass do not use that, and it's not something that's looked upon.
And let me say, too, Scott, I mean, I'm going to say it like this, and this is something that we should understand. It all works and it all doesn't work. It all depends on who we're talking about and what that individual brings to the table and the uniqueness, right? It can work if you're talking about a small body part like calves, right? If you're talking about, you know, sometimes even with certain things like arms, right? But realistically, I mean, the way muscles have been built since the beginning of time, that's not how these guys are doing it. It's not how I did it. You know what I mean? It's in order to get big, you know, you have to go in, you have to understand angles, you have to be focused on blood, and you have to be focused. You know, you want to go in, you want to make sure you're contracting that muscle, you're stretching that muscle. You know, you want to make sure that you're consistent. It's not about being frequent in the gym. You know, Vic is talking about something that I believe in greatly. You know, he's training arms once a week. some days. Sometimes he might train it twice a week. Back in the day, guys were training like 3 times a week. I've done that routine too. We've done 3 days on, 1 off. You know, Vic and I have known each other over 20 years. You know, we've trained side by side and trained together. But it's not always about training frequently, but it is about being consistent.
Right. And training with the right form and training with the right intensity.
Absolutely.
Guys, this was great. I mean, what great information, especially the point of the sort of that blood flush where you need that, you need the extra nutrients to get to the muscle, and one way to do it is to train for volume. That's a really interesting point. So we're talking with Victor Martinez and Stu Burton, and give us a call at 602-277-5369 or 1-866-536-1100. When we come back after our commercial, we're going to be speaking with Stu Burton about his methodology, his safe method of training, and we're going to get some specific examples of how he implements that, how he applies that with his clientele. So this is Doctors Spearer and Weiss on the Wellness Roundtable radio show. And again, we're speaking with the pros today about bodybuilding, training techniques, nutrition, and training methods. We'll be right back after these words.
Fair and balanced. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Arizona's only independent voice. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
Conservative justices on the U.S. Supreme Court showed an unwillingness during arguments on the travel ban to second-guess the president on national security justifications. Afterward, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders commented,
"The focus of this travel ban has been on safety and security, is limited to a small number of countries, and a lot of Muslim-majority countries have the same abilities to travel to and from the United States as they did in previous administrations."
California authorities say they have a serial killer in custody whose crimes date to the 1970s and 80s and includes 12 murders and dozens of rapes. Joseph James D'Angelo was arrested today. Jurors deliberating in the Bill Cosby sexual assault retrial had a question less than 2 hours after getting the case, but when they asked for a legal definition of consent, the judge said they've already been given the definitions of the charges they're considering. I'm Barbara Cusack.
This 1100 KFNX traffic report is brought to you by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. Your unused prescription drugs could end up misused or stolen. Take them back at DEA's National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, April 28th. That's DEATakeback.com.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening, we're under an air quality alert. Under mostly clear skies, our overnight low 71. Sunny Thursday, high 99. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 72. And mostly sunny Friday, high 98. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 98 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Arizona's largest business opinion poll is complete. With more than 20,000 businesses from which to choose, the voters have spoken and the results are in to show who's the best in Arizona business. The 21st anniversary issue of Ranking Arizona magazine is now available. Order your copy today at azbigmedia.com and find out who more than 1 million Arizonans voted for to do business with in more than 250 business and lifestyle categories. For more info, go to azbigmedia.com and get your copy today.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at iWellnessPartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust through a thorough workup with regular communication and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Welcome back to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. I'm Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, and we're speaking with the pros, Stu Burton and Victor Martinez. And so I wanted to open up this segment, Stu, with a question for you regarding the specific method that you use to train your clientele. I know we've spoken about it before off the air. It's called the SAFE method, and I think our listeners would like to know what that is and how you apply it.
Sure, definitely. Vic, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Well, everybody, I think Vic is getting ready to run.
Okay.
And I just
thank you, Victor.
That's okay. You're welcome on the show anytime, and thanks so much for your time today.
It's probably time for a meal, right? It's probably time for a meal.
Actually, somebody wants to get in shape, and they've been waiting for me for 2 hours.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yo, Vic, I'll see you in the gym.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I look forward to doing this again.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, bro. Yeah, so the SAFE method, it's something beautiful. Actually, Vic has used it a few times. Okay. And what it's designed to do is it's designed to talk a little bit about, incorporate. I'm going to talk a little bit about what really makes it work. In the beginning, one of the first training methods, I'm going to make this real short and just get right to the point, there was a system called 10-10s. 10-10s, and I had spoken about this before in the past. It was when we can use something like a squat. We'd come in and we'd take the squat, and we'd do 10 sets of 10 repetition of 10. Great exercise, builds really good thigh size, and it's beautiful. Is it the only way to build a leg, or is it the best way to build a leg? I'm going to come out and I'm going to answer that question for you. I'm going to tell you no. Why? You can't take any one movement and develop any muscle completely. It's impossible. You need angles. And without creating these angles, you don't get a complete development of the muscle. You don't get a very healthy muscle. We don't have the mobility. We don't have the pliability that's necessary. So with angles, we get to hit different fiber areas from top, middle, and bottom, side to side. So this is where something like a leg extension would come in. Somebody could say, oh, so Stewie, were we throwing a leg extension? Yes. So now we start to round out the development of muscle by incorporating other angles or other movements into the routine. Well, the routine was designed to give us a high level of volume, because when you do 10-10s, you're getting a lot of volume and a lot of practice on one particular movement. So neuromuscularly, you get very, very good at executing the movement.
Sure.
This is important for building muscle. It's also very important for building size and strength. If you are not moving properly, you can't exert the right amount of force. So typically in a routine, you have somebody come in and we're going to take chest. They might do 5 sets, let's say, of incline, and that would stop. Then they would move over, let's say, to the flat bench, and they'll do 5 sets of bench press, and that will stop. Then they might go to something like a dip, and they would do 5 sets of dip, and this is high volume, and it'd stop, and that would most likely be the routine.
Sure.
Okay,
That sounds great. That sounds good to me.
Awesome routine, right? I did it myself. Many years training with Leon Brown, Harold Poole, it worked.
Sure.
But then you start to realize that, hey, is there a way to maximize that work, get better at certain movements that I want to get better at, and maintain less time, keep less time in the gym? Because it's not about spending more time in the gym. The longer you're in the gym, the less time you have to recuperate and to grow. So it's not about being in the gym for a long period of time. What we're trying to do is we're trying to develop healthier bodies that can develop faster. So the method, and I'm going to just break it down for you really quick, was based off of, I'm going to use the chest. Let's say I had somebody that came to me and has a weak upper pec. We're going to start with an incline press, and we're going to use humble sets because we want people not to jump and try and use bigger sets. It's not about doing a lot of sets because you're going to notice that the actual volume is very high.
I see.
We would do 2 sets of 15 repetition of the incline barbell press. After the 2 sets of the incline barbell press would be done, we're going to just say, okay, let's jump down to flat barbell bench press, right? We're going to use that same sequence. So we go to the flat barbell bench press. We'll do the flat barbell bench press for 2 sets at 15.
Okay.
You don't drop the incline. You actually keep the incline bench press in, but the reps drop down to 6. So what's happening now, you're hitting a much higher load. For more advanced athletes, what's going to happen is when we do a 5-set rep scheme, first 2 sets would be warm-up. We're pretty much hitting our max load on our 3rd set. Right. And we're trying to maintain repetitions, sometimes decrease. So what we're going to do is we're using those 2 sets of inclines to pre-warm the area. When we go to the flat, some of the anterior delta is obviously warm. We just did inclines. The triceps are warm and the pec is warm. It is a different angle per se, but there's enough congestion in the area for it to be safe. We would start now with a slightly higher load, and we're going to do 6 repetitions. So we would do 2 sets of 6, but after every set of flat, you add a set of incline. You understand? So it's 1 set of 15 repetition flat, followed by an incline that's going to come in now at 6.
Okay.
So you would do 2 sets of that. Now we're going to go to the dip. The dip comes in at 15.
Okay.
And what we're doing is we're interchanging. So what's happening is the first movement that you did, you're actually, if we're doing 2 sets per 3 combination, gets 6 sets.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
The second movement that would come in would get 4 sets. The last movement that would come in would be the dip. That would get only 2 sets.
Yeah.
I see.
I get it.
But what's happening is that every time you're coming in, you're not dropping anything, you're adding to the load. So what starts to happen is the congestion that you're looking for in that upper pec area, you're getting. And you're training fibers that are at 15 rep range, you're training it at a 6 rep range.
Right.
And then when you're in the 3rd combination, it goes from a 6 to an 8. So you're actually deloading. So you're not you're not continually trying to lift heavier.
Yeah.
Does SAFE stand for something?
Yes, it's Specialized Accumulative Fiber Engagement.
Ah.
So what we're doing is so if I have, like when Victor came in and we were working, the first time we did it, Vic and I, we used legs. We did it with legs. Second time we came in, we used it on shoulders, right? So when we're coming in, if we have a particular area like the posterior deltoid, that's going to be that primary area. We're going to pick that movement first, right? Because it's a rear delt issue, so we're going to come in.
Okay. We seem to have lost our guests somehow. So we were just talking with Stu Burton about his SAFE method, and very, very interesting. It's kind of, I guess, it's a new take on an old method. And as he was talking, it made a lot of sense to really kind of overload the muscle fibers. And as he was speaking, or as he said, SAFE stands for specialized accumulation or accumulated fiber engagement. So you're trying to, through his method, you're trying to engage as many fibers as possible from as many angles as possible.
And I agree with that, Dave.
Our guests are back on. Dr. Weiss,
yes,
you back on?
Yes.
Stu, you back
I'm
on?
here.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
Okay. So go ahead, Scott.
Dave, I agree with what you were saying about the angles. I mean, one of the reasons I see people like appreciating the gymnasts is since they work every muscle fiber from different angles and different events, they're so symmetrical. And again, that's naturally with gymnastics. But now you take the bodybuilders and they develop so many angles and engage the fibers, as Stu was saying. That's where I could see that that symmetrical, perfect bodybuilder look.
Yeah, if you're looking at the muscle and you look at the pennation of the muscle fibers, how they move in so many different angles, this makes a lot of sense. And plus, you're flushing the area with a lot of blood, a lot of nutrients. You're flushing the area. You're warming up the area before you actually, kind of train it in a sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, it was actually, when I first came up with it in 2000, it was actually being used with injuries.
Okay.
And what we found was that we were getting really good development from it. So then when I started to experiment with it more and started using actually like 3 sets with the majority of people that we work with in my training facility, more people that are a lot more advanced, someone like Victor could do 4 or 5. It's very, very brutal. The thing is that it is very intense.
I'm sure.
Because you're utilizing the different techniques. One is no workout that we're going to utilize is going to take more than 45 minutes. We want to try and complete these workouts within a 30-minute time frame. So we're pushing at a rate where the body's moving relatively quick. There isn't a lot of rest.
Right.
So we get a tremendous amount of lactic acid buildup.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And at the same time, you're also working with the loads because you're doing progressions.
Right.
So you're increasing your loads.
Stu?
And then the change of angles. Yes.
I'm just gonna interrupt you because we're going to break. I know that Dr. Weiss had a specific question for you, which we'll hit in the next segment.
I do.
So we'll lead in with that question. But this was great. I mean, really, really interesting in terms of the methodology and how it's implemented. We're on the Wellness Roundtable radio show talking with Stu Burton. This is Speak to the Pros. We'll be right back after these words.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at iwellnesspartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust through a thorough workup with regular communication and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Veterans face treacherous situations filled with peril while serving our country. Many veterans come home physically injured, suffering with PTSD, have traumatic brain injuries or other ailments. For over 45 years, Help Heal Veterans has provided therapeutic art kits to these critically injured veterans at no charge to them. Help us heal vets. To volunteer or learn more, visit healvets.org. Help a veteran. Visit healvets.org.
Thank you, Steve. Sunshine of my love. Good choice. We're back with the Wellness Roundtable radio show with Dr. David Spear and Dr. Scott Weiss, and we're speaking with Stu Burton about bodybuilding and training methods, nutrition, and I know, Dr. Weiss, I know you had a specific question, so I wanted to lead in with that.
Stu, from a bodybuilding standpoint, everybody wants to know how to work arms. Summer's coming. I agree. Everybody wants to learn how to work their abs and look good on the beach. But I guess one of my goals is quite different. Could you give me some insight personally on how to really build a bigger back? I feel like I focus pretty good on everything else. Right. I understand the basics and the mechanics, but I'll tell you, I don't know if it's a genetic thing, but my back just does not have the development and the width and the mass. And I can bang out 15 to 20 pull-ups, no problem. Right. I'm just not building the mass. Do I got to hang weight from me? What do I got to do?
All right. This one is okay. Without me doing an assessment, right? We're going to assume that there's no kind of curve to the spine or anything like that, and everything is set up properly. Two things you're going to look at. First thing is going to always be nutrition. Right? We're going to always talk about food because the car's not going anywhere unless it's got gas. So if you don't have the right building blocks in order to create the muscle that you stimulate in the gym, because when you're in the gym, you're just stimulating muscle. If you're not getting enough calories in, the right nutrients, you're not going to build any muscle. And that's the first thing. All right? Second thing is, you say you do a lot of chins, but I don't know if those chins are good. I would have to see those guys. The
one thing I can tell you, they are pretty solid. It's the chest to the bar, and I go to full extension, and I would never do quick little, little cheaters.
But let's talk about that a little bit because you know what I hear a lot of people always talk about full range of motion, right? Full range of motion is relative to what it is you need and what it is you want. We talk about your upper lats. We talk about your lower lats. Really, upper lats, teres major, rhomboid area. We talk about middle back. What are we talking about? So if we looked at the back, we can get a good idea because what I deal with is specifics. So when people want something, we're going to assess the area or areas or the physique, and we're going to say, okay, these are the things we need to do. But to cut to the chase, a few basic things you need to understand. Any kind of pull down or any kind of pull up, there needs to be good extension to the spine. You have to be able to extend the spine and have to be able to push the sternum up. If the sternum is not elevated, you're not going to retract the scapula, the shoulder blades. And that's very, very big in getting the right kind of activation in that muscle. You may be someone that actually doesn't need to contract because if you're telling me you're pulling all the way to the top and you're getting really good deep contractions and your sternum is real nice and high, well, I would then just start doing the opposite. I would start to keep my range a little bit lower. Make sure that the full extended position, the elbow isn't fully extended. There should be a little bend so that you can get a little bit more pull on the scapula. If you fully extend the arm, the initiation of that movement is going to come at the elbow joint. You're going to get a lot of tendon, ligament. You're going to get a lot of bicep, right? So we want to take that out. Another thing is the grip, which we stress very heavily inside my gym. We use a monkey grip or a thumbless grip. When you grip the bar with your thumb, your bicep is automatically going to get activated. We want to take the thumb away, put on the same side of the fingers. We want to use a pull-up that's very similar to what Vince Gironda used to describe, which is like a bowing action. So instead of pulling straight up, you're going to pull up and you're going to arch back a little bit, and you're going to try and pull to the sternum, to the lower portion of the chest.
Yeah.
This is going to give us a real strong, good contraction. Then you want to make sure that you're doing movements like barbell rows and deadlifts. I think they're a must. With those movements now, we're going to talk about stabilization. If your legs aren't set properly, you're not going to move sufficient weight to get that body part to grow. The back is a big body part. You have to have those legs stable with enough bend that when you dip down and you're stretching again and not fully extending the arm, keep a little bend to the arm at the bottom. It's going to save your bicep. And pull up in towards the waist hip area, not to the chest.
Yes, I got you. Very clearly.
You know, a lot of guys pull to the chest all the time. You get a pretty decent, upper back development, but you get a lot of bicep development because of the flexion of the elbow.
Yep.
You want to open up those degrees. If you're getting more of a 90-degree flexion, it's going to go more into the lat. But if your arm is flexed too much, because you're pulling high in towards the chest, and if the arm isn't wide enough, it's a lot of forearm. It's a lot of brachialis, and it's a lot of bicep.
I mean, so I'm doing. It sounds like you should do something in the vertical plane, like a pull-up. It sounds like you're saying you should do something in the horizontal plane, like a row.
Absolutely.
And so far, so good. And I got a decent routine from what you're explaining. And what about my low back? Do I do hyperextensions? Yeah.
Before we even go into that, I wouldn't do those two back to back. Also, I think a lot of people forget one of the most important exercises ever. And when I say it, I'm not saying for back. I'm saying ever is a pullover. Pullovers need to be done. More people need to get involved because you're going to open up your serratus, your intercostal. These are framing muscles of the abdominal region. It's going to allow your shoulder to be real nice and healthy if done properly.
Right.
Then you know what I heard? Actually, I heard a research study which is so important. Somebody was saying, what is considered the squat for the upper body? Like everybody knows the squat is great for the lower body. It's one of the overall building. But what is the one exercise that's similar to the squat that uses that amount of power, that amount of muscle recruitment? And they said it was the pullover.
Yeah, the pullover is you can't beat the pullover. I mean, it is an amazing exercise. In my gym, we have
the pullover.
Man, we have a form of pullover press that we do. I've always done I've done sometimes pullovers maybe 2 or 3 times a week because I would do extremely light pullovers, maybe about 15 or 20 pound dumbbell, and this is when I'm like 280 pounds, with breathing squats. Then if I was doing regular pullovers, I'd be using a lot heavier weight on that. Then I would also use it as a transition movement. So if I'm doing chest and back, I would always put that in the middle. The pullover is going to save your biceps. It's going to give it a little bit of a chance to recover before you get to that horizontal pulling movement or that vertical pulling movement, depending on which one you put first. So
Thank you.
Sticking it in the middle gives you a little isolation. It's very important to get some isolation, some pre-exhaust, especially if you're having an area that's proving to be difficult. I don't think there's anything that can beat pre-exhaust. When you pre-exhaust that muscle with an isolation movement to go to a multi-joint movement, you typically get better blood flow. It's about connection and blood flow and angles. If there's no connection, it's very hard to get blood flow. And then you don't get the development. But once you start to develop that connection, that awareness, you can then start to pool blood into that area.
It's great. It's a real scientific methodology to bodybuilding.
And Dave, I'll tell you, I usually don't ask personal questions, but boy, I got some really good things to go back to the gym about. So
yeah, that's great, and I'm sure our listeners got some information too. And
I'm glad.
Stu, you had mentioned nutrition. We don't have a ton of time. We have about 2 minutes or so, but what kind of supplementation do you offer your clientele?
We look at everyone as an individual first of all. So based off of what somebody needs. But one of the things that we see that is the most important are things like branched chain amino acids. And definitely want to bring one of the doctors on that I work with, and we're going to talk a little bit about, I think, one of the hottest supplements out on the market right now. And if your body is slipping into a catabolic state, you know, where you know, the body is eating up muscle tissue, where we're getting into muscle wasting, it doesn't matter what you do inside the gym. You know, you want to make sure that you're working at making sure that the body is working as a system towards the goals that you want. It needs to be anabolic. So getting adequate amounts of protein, and then at times also backing off, because if you're putting too much animal protein inside, we get a little bit too much gut expansion, right? Gastrointestinal issues. So we're always trying to battle that. We want to try and make sure that the focus is health while we're chasing vanity, let's say, you know, and wanting to look really good. So incorporating things, supplements that are going to help. And with the next issue that we come out with, the next radio show, I'm going to be really delving deep into this.
That sounds great. That sounds great. We've covered so much. We've covered methods. We've covered training techniques, some nutrition. So I want to thank you, Stu, for your insights, for, you know, just your experience is incredible in this area. And I want to thank Victor Martinez for coming on the show and sharing with us his routines and, you know, what his day looks like. And next week we're going to be back with a jiu-jitsu professional, jiu-jitsu sensei, talking a little bit about martial arts and wellness. So for the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show, I'm Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show right here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tune in next week for more from the experts on the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
If you missed the Lars Larson Show, you missed this.
You're illegally in somebody else's country. You've broken the laws of that country. And now while one part of the government is trying to throw you out appropriately because you broke the laws of that country, you want the same government to help you understand how to beat the case? I'm not in favor of paying for that.
Stay up late. Lars Larson, nights at 10 p.m. You're listening to Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, Cave Creek, Phoenix, a division of Premier Radio Stations, the home